Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 588th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today we have Stephen Summers. He's a lad from overseas, and I'm going to have him on twice. This first one, we got deep into one of his things, which is selling on Amazon and how to use Amazon for research and for marketing. So I'm not doing Amazon stuff myself. I mean, my books are self-published through Amazon, so I'm there for that, but I'm not doing any other type of advertising. So it was super simple, or I should say super informative, super interesting to hear how he has done this and what he recommends. But we get into his story, how he became focused on this model, and you're going to get something out of it. Okay. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not on Amazon, there's not a play for me there, you are wrong. So listen to this episode. I'll keep this intro short. I'm on day 11, still congested. This is worse than my COVID experience. I'm on day 11. I am maybe 85% sucking on a cough drop right now, trying not to make it too obvious. So it's also Halloween as I record this intro, so got to go take the kids out playing, goofing off. So I'll keep this relatively short and sweet. I'm also heading back to Texas. Going to go watch the Air Force Army game up in Arlington, Texas Cowboys Stadium this weekend, so that'll be fun. Got some buddies coming in. It'll be a little mini reunion. So I'll do a couple of intros here back to back. But yeah, this interview is interesting. Like I said, Stephen's got two angles that he does things. So I'm going to schedule him back on, be probably another month, and have him hit his other angle. But in the meantime, Gorillas of Growth is alive and well. So go check that out. Come join us. Okay. gorillasofgrowth.com. That's my weekly live call. Interactive. You get full access to all of the Make Every Sale content. So come join, plug in, grow your business, get someone to help you for less than you're paying, probably what you pay for your cell phone bill. Certainly less than you pay on drinks for a couple of weekends. I've done this for many, many years. I love doing it. I am promoting the heck out of this moving forward, Gorillas of Growth. That is the signature program where I can help W-2 salespeople, entrepreneurs just starting out, and even more senior salespeople, because I'm helping folks all along the journey, and everybody has something to learn. A senior person can learn from the fundamentals. Today in jiu-jitsu, we covered what should be fundamental, how to escape from somebody's guard. And there's still nuances and subtleties after almost 6 years. January will be 6 years for me. And I picked up a little nugget. And then we practice it. So experienced people benefit from hearing the basics, if you will. The new people obviously benefit from the basics. But then when I cover more advanced things, the new people benefit from seeing the vision, having me paint a picture where this is going, what their life can be like in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year of doing things in a professional manner. If you want to be a professional, do what professionals do, then you will have what professionals have. Okay, so gorillasofgrowth.com. Come join us, and I want to help you sell mo better. You can join annually and save a lot. You can join quarter by quarter. It's still a good investment. Okay, now, so go do that, and then come back and listen to this episode with Stephen. Stephen Summers, founder of Marketplace Superheroes and Grow My Reach, all the way from, what was it, Wexford,
Ireland. Yes, sir.
Wexford,
right here,
Ireland.
ready to go.
Ireland. That's over like by Canada, right? Or Mexico? I'm pretty good with
Closer to Japan, actually.
Oh, gotcha. I need to look that up, man. All right. Well, hey, welcome to the show, man. How the heck are you?
I'm great. I'm delighted to be here, Wes. As I said to you before we started, I've seen your stuff and I like what you do, so I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
Well, you clearly have bad judgment, and that's my kind of people, man. So welcome. It's, yeah. So Marketplace Superheroes, Grow My Reach. We're going to talk about a lot of things quickly.
Sure.
We're on a little bit of a schedule, but you You've been doing some, you're helping people. I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, and this
Yeah.
kind of intrigued me. Add extra income, right, through building their own business, selling simple branded products globally on Amazon. So when you say branded products, is that like I'm just reselling Nike, or am I branding my own stuff and then selling that
Yeah.
globally?
Well, funnily enough, until this year, I would have said to you, it's building your own brand on Amazon, selling your own stuff from
Mm,
scratch. But actually, where I got my start and what we started teaching again this year was actually what we call the wholesale model, whereby you'll purchase products from domestic suppliers in the US, but they're already well-known brands. Probably not Nike now, but things like, say, like Crayola markers, for example, right? Something like that, and you can actually sell something that's already known, already branded on Amazon. So we actually teach two of those main business models now. Some people really want to start from scratch. I want to build up my own brand. I want to be successful. And we have a very unique approach for how we do that on Amazon. And then the other side would be, I don't have a big budget. I just want to get started with a simple business. I can resell other people's stuff. I know I'm not going to make as much money, but I'm going to get some experience, and I can take that money and potentially launch my own brand. So they're the two main models we teach.
right. And anybody listening to this, if they're thinking, oh, I'm going to tune out of this one because I'm not on Amazon, it's like, hold your horses, because we're going to get into a couple
Yeah.
of things. We're going to get into the content creation side of your business in a minute. But um, I was buying and selling on eBay in like 1999.
Oh yeah.
And I bought a car in like 2003. I bought gold, precious metals on
Yeah.
eBay. I had access to a sales book that was very rare and hard to get, and I could buy them by the caseload. I was buying these books at like $25 a piece in '06 time
Yeah.
frame, and I was selling them as much as $100.
Nice.
Uh,
Really nice.
yeah, and so like I understand this model. I appreciate this model. Obviously, Amazon wasn't as big back then,
Yeah.
but it's still this. Call it a side hustle, whatever. I'm always telling people, dabble a little bit, experiment, but always be selling and understand that
Yeah.
this is a big game. The world is a game. We're on a stage, and you need to be getting your reps in. Learn how to haggle, learn how to negotiate, learn how to write tighter ads, tighter headlines, more descriptive. So, and
Yeah.
so again, even if it's not your world, I'd recommend you dabble in it.
I think
Gary
so.
V, these guys. I see that some guy like has a big program. He teaches people like, to resell books. He just goes to like garage sales and buys
Yeah.
books, scans them. Oh, this is worth money, and resells them. So can it be that simple?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Funnily enough, we're actually just adding in an arbitrage programs what you're describing. We're just doing that at the moment this year, because what we're looking to do in our space, and this is definitely something we can talk about, is become number one educator in the Amazon space with the best trainers that we have and the best programs and all of that. But I think what you said a minute ago is so true. Like I'm a big fan of learning sales, and I think it's a critical skill for any business owner. But like you said, and I really like it, it's kind of like one of the rules that I learned was becoming a producer, not a consumer, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking around like, how can I turn things into being a producer, i.e., the person that makes the money, not the person that's getting sold to. And so even now, like a friend of mine just told me the other day, there's this great program out there. It's going to show you how to buy watches, luxury watches, and resell them, in the future, like as like almost like an investment. And I'm just like, yeah, show me how that works. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But just knowing and I think it's having an awareness, Wes, as well, of how business works, how sales operates, how business models operate as well, really helps you no matter what you're doing. And especially if people are listening and they're business owners, I always say if I had my time over, and I'm still, young, I'm 35, but if I had my time over, I would just go back and just collect more business models, because that just expands your knowledge. You get better at being a producer. And no matter what happens, when you look at something, you can just see exactly how A to Z within seconds you would turn it into money. So I agree
Yeah.
entirely with what you're saying.
Yeah, you've got to be
Yep.
able to connect the dots, see the big picture, and things change over time, right? It's like
Yep.
you're I always tell people, find something that works and pound that thing home. But you're always trying to beat your best ad, beat your best campaign, because
Yeah,
eventually it will stop working.
100%.
So don't be surprised, but entrepreneurs typically get bored. Oh, I've been doing that. And they go blow shit up. That's working just because they're bored.
Yeah,
And they're constantly reinventing, recreating. It's like, no, dude. Because so many people, like they think they have to invent something, create something the world has never seen. It's like, I have made millions basically being an affiliate,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Finding products, software, Infusionsoft, HubSpot, things like that, lead pages, Entreport, Active Campaign. Oh, you want it? Here's a link, and I get
yeah,
paid. And
yeah,
that frees me up to go be creative and make every sale program, make the gorillas of growth. So it frees me up to be creative. But man, I was grinding for years just reselling other people's stuff. I gave my
yeah.
first paid sales talk was in Vegas. I don't know, 11 years ago. Yeah, 11 years ago. And I didn't have a book. So I took that book that I was reselling. I brought it with
Yeah.
me because it was a great book. I sold $1,200 of that book, and I was signing copies of that book, and it wasn't my book,
Yeah,
but I made twelve
I
hundred
like
dollars
that.
on top of my speaking fee and travel. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, and I eventually wrote 2 books, so I've got my own book. But I'm like, hey, there was money to be made. People are like, hey, sign it.
I
It's not
love
my
that.
book. Yeah, but you were the
Yeah.
speaker. Okay.
I think that's the beauty of people like you, though, as well in the world. And, I try to do that as well. It's like just making people aware of where there is money to be made. Because actually, funny you say that, even in our own business, in Marketplace Super as an education business as well, we do make quite a bit of money as well at promoting other people's stuff from time to time. We don't promote that much now because, there's not that much that really fits our audience. We have a very good relationship with that audience, so we really protect them, as a lot of people do nowadays, which makes sense. But absolutely, we made, like, last year, I would say we made 7 figures promoting other people's stuff as well as doing our own stuff. And I think that's a big point. It's like when you become, Jay Abraham would call it, like, the preeminence, right? And you start to realize with an audience, like, you've got to figure out what are the things they need, and then you create that connection. Massive, massive deal. I mean, there's just a great example in my own world. This year, so there was a guy who came to me a number of times and was like, I want to talk to you about software, Amazon software. And I was like, no, he just wants me to promote his thing, and no, not right now, not right now, etc. And then this year, I actually said, I'm going to listen to that guy. Let me see what he's here to talk about. Now, what I didn't tell you was that we had invested, I don't even want to know the figure now, but it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to build our own tools for Amazon sellers, right? Failed miserably. I mean, I'm happy to, not happy to say, but I'm willing to say we failed. So this guy came to me this year, and I thought he was going to say promote this, and he actually came to me and said, look, you've got a great audience, you guys are doing a great job. We would love to partner. We would love to bring the tools that we can develop to your audience, and do a partnership. And now we have some of the top tools in the Amazon market because somebody brought it in, and now we have it there available. I think that's the other side. It's like creating the connections with your client base, and then being open. I think that's one of our
Yeah.
big problems, right? Like, you just gave the example of, like, you sold this book, it wasn't your book. Most people would not have done that. No, it's not my book, I can't do it. No, there's that this is going to help the people that are there. There's money to be made. I should be making that money. So I love that. And I think it's a great mentality for us all to have, no matter what's going on in the economy.
Yeah, because you use the word arbitrage, right? People may not know what that means, but it's like a bank. A bank is financial arbitrage. A bank does not have any money.
Yes.
They're just holding on to the money they've accumulated, and then they loan it out and they get a spread. That's basically arbitrage, right?
Yeah.
And but people look at it like it's a dirty word, but like my son paid his way through high school and college flipping cars.
Brilliant.
He would buy right. That's what people don't understand. You gotta the big money people in real estate, whatever, they drive a hard bargain and they buy right because the market
Yeah.
can change, but as long as there's enough meat on that bone, you can flip it, and it's ideal. And Matthew did it multiple times. He wouldn't even buy the car. He would negotiate it. Oh, Steven, you
Yeah.
want to sell that car? I'll give you 10 grand. Oh, okay. And he already had somebody ready to buy it for 12 or 13. And then
Yep.
just let the paperwork done, and boom, he'd make $2,000-3,000 on a used car. Never have his
See,
name on it.
and that's a huge point as well. I mean, so much there. I love those examples you gave, by the way. And I'm going to steal the bank example. So thank you for
Yeah,
that. Okay.
for sure.
But I think it's true. It's like we all sometimes have this opinion that I can't make money. I gotta have lots of money in order to make money. But like you just said there, it's actually just more connecting resources. And I think it was in Napoleon Hill has a book, Get Rich with Peace of Mind. I really like that book. And one of the
What
things he
is it?
says
I
in
haven't heard of that one.
oh, that's his best one. It's called Get Rich with Peace of Mind. He
Oh,
wrote it actually at the end of his life after he had been bankrupt. Not a lot of people know this about Napoleon Hill, but so after Think and Grow Rich, he made a ton of money, but he made a lot of bad investment decisions. And he actually was trying to sell his typewriter that wrote the book Think and Grow Rich for like $50 in Success Magazine or something like that, or $500. Dan Kennedy tells the story. But then he got his money again. He became wealthy again. And this book actually documents the changes that he made at that time. But anyway, before I forget what I was going to say about it, that book, he says, the key to business and life success is connecting buyers and sellers. And if you think about it, if we're teaching the Amazon model and whatever model within that model, we're just connecting buyers and sellers. Like a product, you got a buyer for that product. Same with what you were mentioning. Same with your son's great example. But the beautiful thing about your son's example there is he understood, well, there's value there. Somebody else values it higher. I can make that spread, as you mentioned. So how could we all go and do that tomorrow, right? How could we take that idea you just gave and do it tomorrow? There's so many different ways. Amazon is one of those ways. Because with arbitrage, for instance, like you mentioned, the model we will be teaching is you can go to stores like Walmart or whatever online even, and you can just find stuff that they're selling. They're blowing out. You can sell it on Amazon. They're selling at a different price. Those people don't know that. They're happier to pay the higher price. You can make some money there, just like the Gary Vee example. So there's so much we can do as people. I think it's important we all remember that
yeah.
we have the internet now. There's no excuses anymore. I'm sitting here in a little town in Ireland doing well, right? You're sitting in another area across the other part of the pond doing well. It's great.
That reminds me.
Yep. What have you got? Let's see.
I mean, I've got all sorts, but I mean, you and I are practically brothers. I got Jameson sitting right here, man. All right, we're practically related. Okay.
Absolutely, but we probably are knowing how things worked back then,
Hey, I want to make a command decision because you're up against the gun. We're going to stick with Amazon, and I'm going to have you back in a week or two whenever you got time, and we'll talk about your content model.
Whatever you want, man. Whatever you want, no problem.
Because we're on to something here, and I want people again. I'm not selling on Amazon, so I've got questions, and I need to understand how it works better, and so I can be in more places. I mean, I've got 2 books on Amazon, but I'm not doing anything actively there, right? And you mentioned watches. I'm looking at a course on watches. I spoke to a guy who kind of recommends against it. Others have great things to say about it, but I love watches, so I don't know. Maybe I'll do it, but talking about the arbitrage, and I see my clients, they struggle with this all the time because they get good at something. They undervalue, they undercharge because it's easy for them. They feel bad, buying a car for 10 and selling it for 13 the next day. Like, well, it didn't take much effort. It's like, you need to get paid according to the value that you create. Okay. Because let's say you buy that car for 10, you sell it for 13, maybe it's worth 14. So maybe you save that person $1,000. Oh, but I only spent like an hour on this. I don't need to make 13. Maybe I'll give the other guy 11 because he's a good guy and I can sell it for 12, and it's like, no, you need to understand the value that you bring to the marketplace and charge accordingly. But people always, they shoot themselves in the foot. They
100%.
But it seems like if I'm selling on Amazon, the market is the market. It's so because it's
Yeah.
remote. It's not eye to eye. It's like dropping bombs from a drone versus walking up and stabbing a guy. It's a lot easier to shoot it from 12,000 miles away and then go have your coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe Amazon's better if somebody's a weak seller because it's like, okay,
Well,
that's
I
the
think,
market. I'll charge what the market
yeah,
bears.
I think you're right because really, ultimately, the market conditions are going to dictate a few things. So with Amazon, you've got the buy box, as it's called, which is the area where you click buy now for anybody who doesn't know. But also, what you may or may not know, I'm sure most of you do by now, is that beneath the buy box, there's a little area called new and used. Now, if you click in there, you're basically going to see the same product being sold by lots of different people at different prices.
Yep.
So with Amazon, they only allow one unique instance of a product on the platform. Whereas on eBay and sites like that, there can be many listings of the same thing and it can get very confusing. Whereas Amazon don't allow that. It's only one. So then when say you find a product in Walmart or whatever, and you can buy it at $3. And I'm just going to give a silly example. It wouldn't actually work out like this. Let's say you can buy it for $3 in Walmart and you can sell it for $20 on Amazon. So you're going to do very well doing that. Obviously, those economics probably wouldn't play out, but it doesn't matter. It's just an example. So I think the point is that with Amazon, then there's going to be a price point that is winning that buy box. So whatever it is. So let's say it was $19.99. So you're going to have to sell that at $19.99 or maybe even a little less, a couple of cents less, in order to get access to that buy box. In other words, Amazon, they actually change out who is able to sell in that buy box all day long, every day. So let's say there's 3 people all selling for $19.99. Amazon switch those sellers in and out all day long to that buy box position. So really, there's not anything you're going to do on the Amazon platform. You're not going to have to haggle. You're not going to have to negotiate. You're simply seeing how much money can I make? And there's a lot of calculators out there to help you figure that out. Yeah, I'm going to make enough money. Cool. I'll send it into Amazon's warehouses. This is what we do. Amazon store it in their warehouse, and then they ship it out on your behalf whenever a sale is made, whenever you kind of win that buy box. That's effectively what the arbitrage model looks like. And every other model on Amazon, it's essentially the exact same thing, with the exception of selling your own branded stuff. Because if you got your own branded stuff, nobody else is going to be on that listing because you're the only person that can sell it. So again, there's pros and cons of everything, but I think the arbitrage model is a good way to start, get your feet wet. I'd say the wholesale model is then the next iteration for most people, whereby you can go, and this is where you would do great, Wes, actually, and everybody listening here would do great, by the way, because you can go to wholesalers in the US, distributors, you get on the phone, you build a relationship with those people, and then you're able to access all of the products that they have available. And then the ones that are profitable are going to work for you. You can make a small order of many items from those guys, put them into Amazon's warehouses, make money, but you don't have to order hundreds and hundreds of them. You don't have to import them from China. You can just order them from the US, ship them into Amazon from the US, and make some nice money. You're probably going to make 15 to 20%, roughly speaking, on that model. So it's okay, but really you're trading, and that might fit some people here, but also I think what the big thing is, if you're a negotiator, you like speaking to people, you do unbelievably with that model.
So what's something that's feasible on that? Like, give me something specific. Because when you say a wholesaler, off the top of my head, I don't know any wholesalers.
So let's say, for example, you found, I'll pick an example I like. So I just like using the Crayola markers because everyone knows Crayola, the brand, right? They're a global brand. So Crayola typically will sell to distributors in the US, right? Because they want to get their products out to the stores and other locations. So let's say you're on Amazon, you see this 10-pack of Crayola markers. You're like, that looks great. Let me check and see. There's a few things you got to do, but ultimately, let's just say I can get in there and I can sell 50 units of that a month, I reckon. And there's tools we have to calculate all that kind of stuff. So then it's like, well, how do I get them? So you can go to Google. You can Google Crayola distributors, California, right? Let's just say, or New York. And then you use that method to find distributors for that brand. Let's say you can't find California. You go Western US, Eastern US. You can keep kind of coming back out until you start to find some Crayola distributors. Then you go into their sites, you create an account for free. Sometimes you call them, you start up an account with them. Then you get access to their catalog, check and see can it be profitable on Amazon, order a whole bunch of different products that look good, and that's it. Like it's quite simple actually. It's just a matter of putting a bit of time and effort in actually.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I love it. People, I know some are thinking, "Oh, that's below me. I'm a big guy." Blah blah. I'm like, dude, like really. I mean, I was selling books. I was
Yeah.
selling I was selling a $25 book for 50, 80, 100, and over time, more people got in the marketplace, and then the company started selling it to the general public, and it went away. But man, I made money for a couple of years doing that,
yeah,
and I built a
100%.
little bit of a list, and I got creative too, because back then I didn't use Amazon fulfillment,
Yeah.
because I don't think it was a thing then, in like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there, 2010.
It would have been very early days. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had all the books, so Amazon would take their cut, and then I had the address and name, but that was it, right? I don't get the email, I don't get the credit
Yeah.
card info. So I
Yeah.
made little inserts for like little goodies, little bonuses,
Yeah.
and drive them to my website to then try to get more contact info on them. But I mean, that's kind of a downside, right? Amazon keeps that
Sure.
customer, so is that just the nature of the beast that you just have to accept it?
Yeah, well, I think it depends what your strategy is. So if you're doing the wholesale model, then you really won't do the insert method because
Right.
you're really, you're jumping on, you're making sales on something because you can get it. And you're in and out of products kind of, not every month or anything, but you might sell a product for a year, 6 months, and you move on, and you're always selling multiple items.
Mm-hmm.
So really where that strategy comes in and is usable more so is if you're selling your own branded stuff. But Amazon though do have some, kind of strict rules around what they like, what they don't like. But if you're going to, let's say you're selling a skip rope product for fitness, let's just say I just picked a random example off the top of my head. By the way, don't sell those. But let's say you were selling those,
You say jump
and
ropes?
yeah, skip ropes were like fitness,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they're just very competitive. Holy crap,
yeah. Sure.
crazy competitive. But let's say you were making sales of those of your own brand on Amazon. So the wrong thing to do would be like insert card, come to our website, just jump on our email list. So Amazon don't like that, and
Sure.
because you're what they would say diverting the customer right off of their platform, and everyone's the same. YouTube are the same. No one really likes us doing that. Facebook's the same, etc. But what you can do is you could be like, okay, so thank you so much for buying our skip rope product. We have a completely free 45-minute workout you can do every day, goes along perfectly with this. You can pick it up by going here. So like really Amazon, they can't really say a whole lot there because you're within your rights as a brand owner to provide that additional value to the person. Whereas where people go wrong, it's like contact us and we'll give you something for doing a review. Amazon don't allow that. It's completely kind of gray, if not black hat at this point in time. So like that would be definitely that was a great strategy that you employed and it works. It still works to this day. But it would be more when you're selling your own brand stuff, like the wholesale model, for instance, and the arbitrage model. Super simple, like it really is. It's just literally like finding opportunities where there's an opportunity for me to get them into stock, do a small trial order of multiple stuff, and make some money. And the other benefit of that, I will say, with the wholesale model, for instance, when you're dealing with domestic US suppliers, you can actually use your credit card. Again, I can't tell you to do that. No, it's not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. But you can use your credit card to deal with US suppliers. So you can basically push out your repayment times, which is good. And then, in many cases, not every case, but in many cases, you will be paid back your profit before you even have to pay the credit card bill. So that can
Mm-hmm.
become a very effective way to multiply your money over time, because if you're growing your money by 15, 20%, and then that's turning in less than a month, there's not too many investments where you can get 15, 20% per month relatively low risk, right? I mean, obviously, some people, if they're sitting there all day trading, maybe, but without much effort, without shipping out anything day to day, it's a nice return on investment.
So what you're saying is I should mortgage my home, buy a bunch of Crayola crayons, and I'll make 20% of my money, put it into crypto, and then 10x that overnight. Is that what I just heard you say? Kind of in a
Well, not quite. You
synopsis.
forgot one part, which was you have to buy the Bored Apes NFTs. You forgot that part.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Hey, it's all,
surprised you forgot that now.
yeah. All right. Done, man. I'm glad we did this interview. We're going to rich. Honey, we made it. Oh, man. That's awesome. So, I was thinking about something on, so you're on Amazon. How, like, what is the risk?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I understand start small. That's cool. So maybe I risk a few $100, $1,000. All right. Now I place a big order.
Yep.
And everything does, reach equilibrium. But I mean, I guess if I'm
Sure.
buying at the right price, worst case, maybe I kind of break even and then just phase out
Yeah.
of the market. Like how do I
We,
dabble in this without
yeah.
putting big money at risk?
Sure. Well, with the arbitrage model, you're never really going to put much money at risk, really,
Sure.
because you're only ever going to be ordering a small quantity. The worst thing that can happen is you can't get access to that buy box, and you got to basically cut your losses, break even, and get out of that market.
Mm-hmm.
Same would really be said for the wholesale market. You're never and you will never be ordering thousands of units of something to start. You might be ordering 50 or 60, but again, you will know how many to order because we have this tool that we've built, we've got, where I can tell you how many units something sells in a month. You can see how many active sellers are on there. So you can calculate, well, if I was a competitive seller, and i.e. matching that price to get the buy box, I could easily take a division of those sales. So there's 3 people selling, there's 10,000 sales a month or whatever. That means there's 3,000 each, which is a lot, obviously, but I'm just giving a random example. So if I come in as 4, it's 4 into 10,000 now, right? So that's effectively what you're doing there. So oh, I should order X. Obviously, thousands is not going to be the number. It's going to be more like 100 units or 50 units. And maybe I could sell 300 units, but I'm going to order a box of 20 or box of 24 because I don't want to risk too much. I want to just test it out. So, that's really the thing with the wholesale model. You can really mitigate your risk. I think, like you said, the worst case scenario for me would be you blow it out of break even, you stick it on
Yeah.
eBay as well, maybe, and you ship it out from Amazon. The private label model is where there's definitely more risk. But again, we mitigate our risk by doing a lot of different things, a lot of different research strategies, and using different softwares that we have to check on numbers and sizes of markets. But I would say the first two come at very low risk, and the private label model is definitely riskier. But again, you might only be ordering 200 or 300 units or something, so it could be an order of anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 max. So you're never
Mm-hmm.
risking like your house, you're never risking hundreds of thousands. But obviously, as your business grows, your orders are going to grow. But at that point in time, your run rates, how many you're going to sell of something. So really the risk factor comes down as you get bigger, just because what you got data basically at that point.
Right. Can I sell digital products on Amazon? Like I've got an on-demand course, make every sale. Can I sell that on
Yeah.
Amazon?
They brought out a thing a few years ago selling courses, and I've lost track of where that is now, but certainly it's one to research. I don't even know if it's still active. They did actually have that. The other thing, I have a guy I know, Greg Caesar, and I don't do this personally, but it's something I'm looking into doing. He actually teaches a method whereby you can take your digital course, and you may not even do this like right away, but from my understanding, he takes a course and he turns it into a physical thing, and then he sells it on Amazon. And I think he ships it out himself. I've heard of that. But other than that, it's not something I've actually done, even though I sell a lot of courses. I've not sold my course on Amazon before because I would probably sell my less expensive stuff there as like a lead generator. But yeah, my higher end stuff, I sell it myself.
So I've got some branded swag, right? Like I've got this
Oh, yeah.
cool. It's a bottle opener, but it's a 50 caliber bullet that
Wow.
just the shell. right? And they carve it out.
That's
So it's a
cool.
bottle opener with my logo and stuff. Could I sell that on Amazon?
Most likely, yeah. I think the thing we got to think about with Amazon is it's like how people are shopping. So
Yeah.
ultimately, like, let's say let's like what you've got to look at is right. What keywords are people utilizing to search something? And then based upon those keywords, you're looking at what are the results Amazon are providing. And then you're looking at, how big are those sellers? Do they have thousands of reviews? What is the state of the market, as it were? Now you can run sponsored, what's called sponsor product ads on Amazon, whereby you pay whatever for a click. I mean, it all depends on the market that you're in. Could be like 75 cents up to $10 for a ridiculous market, but most clicks are fairly inexpensive, and get in front of people there. But it's all about what are people searching for. And so we have a tool of our own, Hero Launchpad, as we call it. And one of the things in Hero Launchpad is you can actually look at key phrases and you can look at the value of those key phrases. You look at the search volume for those key phrases, and then you can kind of get a feel for, could I sell that? But that sounds like a really interesting product that I think actually would work very well on social media advertising, just because it sounds very like striking. And so the difference with Amazon and say Facebook, if you're selling products, it's like Facebook's way more shocking wow factor products, and Amazon's just sells everything. And that's where people go to find products.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could, but I don't know about your chances on that one.
Yep. But it wouldn't cost me anything to list it, right?
No, all you do is you just need to send some units into Amazon. That's it, and they'll still store it in the warehouse.
But
As your brand,
if I'm fulfilling it?
yeah, no, yeah, you could definitely merchant fulfill that. You definitely can, but we just find, and Amazon will tell you themselves that being found merchant fulfilled is challenging. So really,
Okay,
they
gotcha.
want you using FBA, but you can also get access to what's called brand registry if you've got a trademark brand or a pending trademark. So that could be another thing to look into on Amazon, whereby
Yeah,
you
and
can.
I do. I've got 2 trademarks.
Yep. There you go. So yeah, that's definitely an opportunity. Also, the other thing you can do, of course, is you get a platform. So you could put those products on Amazon and send people there to go and buy them. And then the good thing about that is that Amazon's seen all this external traffic coming in, this legitimate external traffic. They're buying your product on Amazon. And then that will actually help rank the product on Amazon because the conversion rate is high. So the algorithm looks at this and says, holy shit, he's after sending a whole bunch of people here to buy these things. They're converting really well. I wonder if we put them in front of some of our own organic audience, would they like it too? You could push it on quite well with that.
Well, I
We're
just
like
did a search.
brainstorming here. This is a fun brainstorming session, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I just did a search. It said, if you know Steven Summers, then you can sell everything at 200% markup. So I'm just going to paste this picture of you. I just took a screenshot, so I'm going to be a millionaire from this.
Absolutely. I'm glad that we made that guarantee as well. I feel very comfortable making that guarantee. Thank you.
A friend of mine, he told me this over a year ago, but he buys like entire shipping containers from Amazon.
Yep.
It was kind of like the storage wars that guys go bid on
Oh yeah.
a store, but he gets this whole container and
Yeah.
he's got a guy, it's full time. It's a lot of money. It's 30,000, 40,000. I don't know. It's a chunk of change, and you got to have room to store it. And he pays a guy who sorts through everything because these are all returns, right?
Yeah.
Some are junk, some were just legit. Somebody just didn't want it. And so he basically has like a few piles. One is trash, one is donate, and one is resell these things. And he's making money.
Oh yeah. Well, that's how I got my start, really. My business partner, still my business partner, Robert Ricky, he had a whole bunch of stuff lying around like that, returns from his e-commerce business. I started selling them on eBay and Amazon, just like your buddy. And that's how I got my start when I had absolutely no money. And I did pretty well with that. And I think, again, if you're buying those things for pennies on the dollar, you could definitely make money. Yes, it's sweat. And that's where, there's some work in that. But that's actually an interesting thing. I've not done that before. Bought one of those and like ever, but I've definitely dealt in returns, but I've not bought one, say from Amazon or whoever. But now you've given me an idea. Got to go look into this now, just for a fun investment test. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's doing well with it.
Yeah,
So cool, man. So you're, like I said, we're gonna have you back, but it's marketplacesuperheroes.com, right? Is where they can
for
learn
the
more
Amazon
about
stuff,
that.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. And so we're gonna send people there, learn about that. That is cool. And we'll schedule you to come back on Grow My Reach. And so
Brilliant.
just to tease our listeners.
Yes.
Right. So the fastest way for online course content creators to build a breakthrough program. You have a free mega guide, not just a guide, it's a mega guide.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Mega
Damn.
guide. We can
All
talk
right.
about that the next day. We can talk about that funnel that
All
we've
right.
built, and it's really effective. It's very simple. We can talk about how a lot of the approaches people are using right now in business to sell things are really poor.
Mm,
What we've done to
yes.
mitigate that, the changes that have happened, moving away from VSL, 20-minute VSLs, direct
Mm,
calls, what's
mm,
happening if it's B2B versus B2C. We
yep.
can talk about a lot and I will make sure that day to have a lot of time because I think we can go deep on that one.
Hey, because you know who I am, right? I'm the sales whisperer. So you make time for me. I'm kind of a big deal in my own mind.
I've
Okay.
learned my lesson today, and I do apologize. I'm going to whisper back to you. I'm so sorry.
No, I whisper. I whisper and I yell if I have to. Okay. You can't whisper. You must
All right, cool. All right, cool.
enunciate. Okay. And elaborate. Very cool. Marketplace superheroes. Stephen Summers, all the way from Japan or Ireland, somewhere over there, man. Cool. Thanks for coming on the show.
Cheers, Wes. Thank you, mate.
Cheers. Arbitrage selling. Become a producer, not a consumer. Be aware of how business and sales work. Go collect business models. Okay, I've got a guy coming up in a couple of episodes, Matt Ganzik, and he creates software. I just used his software just before getting this going, and it got me thinking. So an hour before this, I was on the phone with a couple of tech friends after Matt's inspiration to create a plugin for HubSpot. And it will probably become a plugin for other platforms as well. I'm talking with the founder of Nimble. Had a call with him early this morning. And talking about some fundamental tools for helping people that make outbound a part of their daily life. Because not everybody can make all of the money that they need with inbound. And this is a fundamental thing that nobody really does well. They don't do it affordably. They don't do it as easily as it needs to be for salespeople. So collecting these business models got me thinking, yeah, I need to go build the tool that I wish existed. So I'm still learning. That's why I love doing these. I get more out of these than you do, okay? Because I'm speaking with these people and I'm asking them the questions that I want answered. So check out what Stephen has to offer. Follow him on social media. Enroll in one of his programs if that's of interest to you. And if not, if it is or isn't, join me as well. Gorillasofgrowth.com. Come join us. Let me help you grow your sales. And I forgot to mention 12 weeks to peak. It's free. Join it. Hold yourself accountable. Have your last hard sales quarter ever. 12weekstopeak.com. Now go sell something.